Right now, increased security at La Follette High School for homecoming weekend. This after 2 shootings in a 7-day span. Plus, the FBI has 1 week from today to conduct its probe into Judge Brett Kavanaugh after an unexpected request from the Senate Judiciary Committee and President Trump. And goodbye, Buc-ee's. Even though the Badgers team has a bye week, you get your Buc-ee fix tonight at the Buc-ee on Parade Grand Finale. What to know before you go to the party.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday, and welcome to the weekend. It is September 29th. I'm Josh Spreiter with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, I think we should tell the folks that if they're stepping outside and they think, oh my gosh, this is awful, it could be worse. It snowed in Minnesota and Nebraska yesterday.
That's right. That's right. I saw that on Twitter this morning and I thought, man, how about that? But yeah, we've had those chilly temperatures out there this morning and they are starting to warm up just a little bit. All those frost advisories, I do want to point out, they are gone. We still do have some freeze warnings up north. Those are going to last for about the next hour or so before we get those to expire. But here's the deal. Temperatures have made it to 38 degrees, so we have warmed up 4 degrees in the past hour. So that sunshine is doing its job and really heating the ground out there. So temperatures now still cooler, though, than they were this time yesterday. 12 degrees cooler. Earlier this morning, it was 20 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. So you see the difference there. Black River Falls has made it all the way up from 23. They are now at 30, 31 at Camp Douglas, 33 for Wautoma, upper 30s farther to the south, even some 40s showing up, 41 now in Mineral Point. But as we go back towards the upper Midwest, even areas in Minnesota and northern Wisconsin that were in the 20s earlier, they are now in the 30s. So we are all getting in on that warming trend, and going through noon, we should see temperatures going into the upper 40s and low 50s. It'll still be chilly throughout the day, yes, but by the time we get you towards the afternoon, we'll see those temperatures in the mid and upper 50s. Clouds will be on the increase, though, ahead of rain chances that are going to be moving in later on. Here's the traffic for you if you're headed out and about. At Seminole Highway, a few cars out there, but no major issues are showing up really across the city of Madison as a whole. So happy traveling this morning. If you were hitting the road in and around Madison, just drive safe.
That chill had a little bit of a bite to it this morning on my way in.
It really did. And even last night on my way home, with temperatures not getting out of the low 50s yesterday, I thought, man, heated seats.
Something we're not used to lately.
I know.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, it is homecoming weekend at La Follette, and the high school is increasing security. This comes after 2 shootings in just 7 days nearby. Madison police arrested 3 people in connection with the shooting that happened in a neighborhood near the school on Wednesday, including 21-year-old Joanne Briggs and 17-year-old Jamie Hayes. A 16-year-old La Follette student was also arrested for disorderly conduct. Police believe 2 groups of people prearranged a fight and someone brought a handgun. The 16-year-old injured was also a La Follette student. Out of caution, the school had up to 6 extra officers at last night's homecoming game against Verona. Students have asked for security wands to be used as they go into the homecoming dance tonight. Developing this morning, the FBI will begin their investigation into Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh today. The move comes after an unexpected request from the Senate Judiciary Committee and an order by President Trump. The FBI investigation will focus on the current allegations against Kavanaugh and take no longer than a week to complete. A vote will happen after the investigation is over. Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin says she had concerns about Kavanaugh's confirmation from the beginning. She told students at the UW-Madison she felt an FBI investigation should have been done prior to the Judiciary Committee vote. Republican Senator Ron Johnson, who had been supportive of Kavanaugh's nomination, told radio host Vicki McKenna yesterday that he didn't want a delay. U.S. Representative Mark Pocan says the 83 people detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Wisconsin are just a fraction of the people ICE is tracking in the state right now. Congressman Pocan met with officials from ICE following the agency's 4-day operation in Wisconsin earlier this week.
ICE was created after 9/11, largely to protect the country against domestic terrorism. If we're picking people up with a speeding violation, is that really protecting us from a domestic terrorist? And I think that's part of the questions that they really couldn't give us good answers.
He says ICE couldn't tell him how many agents are working in Wisconsin or his district or the names of the people who were detained, but did say ICE has a list of 250 people they're targeting in the state. It is known as the birthplace of modern astrophysics. The historic Yerkes Observatory in southeastern Wisconsin is giving its last tours to the public today. The University of Chicago has used the observatory, established in the late 1800s, to make several discoveries over the years. But equipment including what once was the world's largest telescope can't keep up with the new technology. The university says it's cutting ties with the observatory to focus on other research projects. The facility closes on Monday, but today is the last time the public will be let inside. The University of Chicago tells us in a statement they're looking at options for a new long-term steward for the Yerkes property. Some great news for early risers and coffee lovers this morning. There's a way for you to get a cup of Joe for free today. It is National Coffee Day, and there are a handful of shops in town offering some deals to celebrate that addiction to caffeine. Dunkin' Donuts is one of them. They've got a buy one, get one deal on hot coffee all day. Einstein Brothers will give you a free cup with any food purchase. You can find a full list of these deals on the Channel 3000 mobile app. Right now, a Madison area school is in the running for a $25,000 prize, and you have until tomorrow night to help with your vote. Nuestro Mundo is currently in 8th place in Unity Point's Imagine the Amazing contest. There are schools in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa in the running for that money, which will be used to improve wellness in the classrooms. So far, there are more than 24,000 votes for Nuestro Mundo. It's the only school in our area that's in the top 10, which would mean a $1,000 prize. There's no limit on the number of times you can vote. We have a link on where you can do so at channel3000.com. You have just one more day to vote for the coolest things made in Wisconsin. A Stoughton clothing company is on that list. CC Moo LLC made it to the top 4 after the first round of voting in the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Contest. That company makes clothing for infants and toddlers who need a feeding tube. A Kringle company in De Pere, and Generac, which makes a Wi-Fi connected home generator that can sense power outages, are also in the finals. You can vote once per day at madeinwis.com until tomorrow night at 11:59. 7 minutes past the hour. If you missed seeing those Bucky statues on practically every corner of Madison, there is one final opportunity for you to say goodbye. Tonight is the Bucky on Parade finale party. Tickets are already sold out, but you still have an opportunity to go online to bid on 10 of the 30 statues up for auction, all for a good cause, of course. 20 others will be sold off at the event later tonight at the Kohl Center. All the proceeds go to the Madison Area Sports Commission and Guarding Against Cancer. That's Wisconsin basketball coach Greg Gard's Family Foundation. If you want to make a bid, go to buckyonparade.com. The Brewers are in a race for the division title this morning. The team needs the Cubs to lose one of the next 2 games, and they need to win in order to stay in the race for the NL Central crown. They put themselves in a good position last night with a 6-5 win over Detroit. That began as a really special night for the Yelich family. Christian's youngest brother, Cameron, threw out the first pitch. He was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps. This was actually the first time he saw Christian play in person, so naturally, Christian put on a show, hitting a 2-run home run to start the Brewers off. It was Braun who hit his second homer of the game to settle this one. The Brewers play again tonight at 6 o'clock. The Packers, meanwhile, will aim to bounce back after losing at Washington. So what's practice been like this week? Well, not too different from usual. Rodgers has been throwing and is expected to play. Nick Perry and Randall Cobb are both listed as questionable in the team's injury report. The Packers will take on the Buffalo Bills tomorrow at Lambeau. The Bills are coming off a big win last week against the Vikings. You can watch that game right here on WISC-TV 3 tomorrow at noon. We have a couple first alert traffic notes that could impact your weekend drive. First, in Rock County, a stretch of Colley Road under the interstate outside Beloit will remain closed for the next few months. Crews are working on new supports for the I-39 bridge over the road there. That construction should last into early December. And Park Street and Gammon Road is back open in Middleton this weekend for the first time since June. The project was supposed to be done in August, but took a little longer than expected. Woodgate Road in that area is still closed this morning for emergency pond pumping there. It is just about 8:10 on this September morning. We saw just a gorgeous sunrise to start us off. A great but chilly start for the farmers market. Here's a live look over the Capitol this morning. A beautiful start, but yes, if you stepped outside, it is cold. Chris is tracking those temps in his forecast. And there are several shows and movies you should find some time for this weekend. Will has your 3 things to watch on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and happy Saturday to all of you. It's been a pretty chilly day out there. Temperatures are well into the 30s, but we have since warmed up from our morning low of 34 degrees. Right now, temperatures are more so around 38. Now, we did have some frost advisories. Those have expired. We do have freeze warnings for our friends to the north. Those will go until about 9 o'clock. That's where temperatures are still right around 32 degrees. We're at 38 right now here in Madison. A lot of the rain and clouds from yesterday, that is well south of here. We are experiencing clear skies. Notice, however, there's some snow across portions of western central Minnesota. That's cloud cover. Well, that is snow, but the cloud cover from that next system will be increasing as we go throughout the day. And we're also going to notice the southerly wind component begin to increase throughout today as well. And essentially here is how temperatures and sky conditions will respond. We should reach the upper 40s and low 50s by lunchtime. Here comes the cloud cover by early afternoon. Towards 4 o'clock, we'll see our high right around 56 degrees. But then those shower chances, those will be increasing during the overnight hours and into your Sunday morning. And even still during the day on Sunday, we're going to see a lot of cloud cover. Here's what we've got going on. We've had this big dip in the jet stream that allowed these cooler temperatures to come in. And what has caused that is this big ridge of warm temperatures up over Alaska right now. But that's going to be relaxing through time. So this colder air is essentially going to retreat. We're going to see some milder air come back into the picture towards next weekend before the next round of colder air moves in. But in the meantime, what we have developing is a warm front that's very slow to move initially, and several waves of low pressure are going to develop along that and ride towards our area. So that means those rain chances will certainly be around as we go through the next week and some change, but that also means the temperatures are going to be on quite the roller coaster ride. Check it out, near 80 by Wednesday. Then next weekend, it could be another period where we struggle to get out of the 40s. But rain chances will arrive again. Those come tonight and into Sunday. More rain chances through Monday as well, with a roller coaster ride of temperatures going through the next 10 days. So Josh, we're in what I like to call the battle zone, my friend, of up and down temperatures.
I guess we'll deal with it.
Yes, we will.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
One of Hollywood's most favorite stories has been remade for the big screen one more time. This time, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper are leading the cast of the classic A Star is Born. The movie is the fourth remake of the love story about a seasoned musician who falls in love with a struggling artist. Tons of big-name stars celebrated this week at the film's premiere, including Jerry Seinfeld, Barry Manilow, and Steven Spielberg. The film debuts in theaters next Friday. Anticipation is building this morning for the release of the second Fantastic Beasts film and the 10th release from J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World. The third and final trailer for The Crimes of Grindelwald debuted this week. The sequel to the 2016's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is set a few months after the events of the first film. Powerful dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald, played by Johnny Depp, has escaped from custody and started to gather followers. That is when young Albus Dumbledore, played by Jude Law, teams up with a former student to foil Grindelwald's evil plans. The film was directed by David Yates, who directed the final 4 Harry Potter films. Fantastic Beasts hits theaters this November. A new documentary on digital, a film new to Netflix, and a funny celeb-studded celebration top Will Loper's list of things you should check out during this very chilly weekend. Here are your 3 things to watch.
That's an awful angle. It's not fair to old ladies.
Is it your first day?
New on digital platforms this week is the documentary Tea with the Dames.
What would you like to talk about?
Talk more about getting old.
Off, Roger. What is that about?
4 legendary actresses, Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, Eileen Atkins, and Joan Plowright, sit and discuss their lives and careers.
You said a marvelous thing, Judy, when you were asked to do Cleopatra.
Are you sure you want a menopausal dwarf to play this part? That's what she was. That's what she was, quite. It's the way I played it.
We all just thought we were going to be stage actresses.
Oh, talk about Bond.
When I was asked to do it, I was kind of taken aback. And Michael said, I long to live with a Bond woman.
Tea with the Dames is available to rent or buy on all digital platforms now.
We behaved pretty badly. I don't think you and I needed the 60s.
Oh, well, we're not supposed to be talking about...
No, we're not supposed to be talking about things.
Dear Mr. Core, 3 days ago, my son Bailey was taken by wolves.
New on Netflix is the film Hold the Dark.
So you come to kill it? To kill the one that took him?
I came to help if I can, to explain this if I can.
The thriller takes place in Alaska, where a retired wolf expert is called to investigate a child's disappearance.
You're the one found my boy? Yes. Can you raise the dead? No, sir. Then I have no questions for it. Never seen anything like this before.
Hold the Dark is available to stream on Netflix now.
Do you smoke? Only when I drink coffee. Drink a lot of coffee before I go to sleep so I can dream fast.
Finally, celebrate National Coffee Day with 2003's Coffee and Cigarettes.
Coffee and cigarettes? That's not too healthy, is it now? Can I get you a sandwich or something? No.
The star-studded film is a series of comedic vignettes, all involving, you got it, cigarettes and coffee.
I have a dentist appointment, but I don't want to go. I don't like the dentist. You want to go for me?
Thank you very much.
Are you two twins?
Yes.
Coffee and Cigarettes is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
If you don't like it here, we go down to Taco Bell or something. Maybe that's more your style. What are you saying, man? You're saying, like, I'm like a Taco Bell kind of guy?
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
20 minutes past the hour. A woman's hobby is the perfect proof one person's trash really might be another person's treasure. And a world record-setting Wisconsin museum will close its doors after 2 decades. We'll tell you where all of these angels will go after their 87-year-old owner shuts down shop. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning. Temperatures are now warming. That the sun is up. The temperature right now 38 degrees here in Madison. Still a little bit cooler as you work your way to the north. 33 in Wautoma, 30 in Camp Douglas. Black River Falls at 31 right now. And that is where we still have some of those freeze warnings in effect. They're going to stay in effect until 9 a.m. Then we will allow those to expire, just like the frost advisories for us. But here in Madison, we'll see our temperatures head towards 48 degrees by lunchtime, and then eventually topping out right around 56 with increasing cloud cover ahead of a rain chance overnight. Josh?
Thank you. 8:24 is your time this morning. A Wisconsin museum containing the world's largest collection of angels will close after 2 decades today. 87-year-old Joyce Berg launched the Angel Museum 20 years ago with her personal collection. She says a lack of funds, membership, and corporate sponsors caused the museum to close. The museum holds the record for most angels at more than 13,000. It even features 600 donated by Oprah Winfrey. After closing her doors today, Berg hopes to keep some of her angels, auctioning off and selling the rest. Well, here's some proof this morning that one person's trash is another's treasure. There's a woman in Maine selling arts and crafts she makes in her own home. The catch, and I hope you're not eating breakfast right now, they're made out of moose poop. Mary Winchenbach gets the humor behind her passion, making things like poo-poo clocks instead of cuckoo clocks. She calls her art relatable.
Everyone takes a crap. Everyone goes to the bathroom, so everyone can relate to that. And the terms that I use to name these products are everyday terms that, you know, people are used to hearing and stuff. So it just kind of, you just try to, you know, combine the two to come up with something halfway decent that's funny, you know.
Oh, I can't. All right. Mary says half the battle is getting her product, but to do that, she doesn't have to travel far. The turds are local, and Maya, hate that word. She tracks where the moose are in the area, picking up what they left behind. All right. Time right now is 8:25. We have a check of this morning's top stories just ahead, including the latest security changes happening at La Follette High School ahead of tonight's homecoming dance. Stay with us. This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday. Students, school, and stress. The program teaching kids to breathe, calm down, and see the bigger picture. How a special type of classroom is helping students in the Midwest de-stress.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It's just before 8:30 on the September 29th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris is tracking some cooler temps this morning, but first, here's what's happening right now. La Follette High School will have additional security at its homecoming dance tonight. This comes after 2 shootings near the school in a 7-day span. The most recent happened Wednesday when police believe 2 groups of people prearranged a fight and someone brought a handgun. Madison police arrested 3 people in connection to that shooting. Out of caution, the school had up to 6 extra officers at last night's homecoming game against Verona. Students have asked for security wands to be used as they go into their dance tonight. The Badgers have the day off today, but the players get a chance to go home and see their families during the bye week. The next game is 1 week from today. They'll play again on October 6th against Nebraska at Camp Randall. The UW announced that game will celebrate the 25th anniversary of the '94 Rose Bowl championship. More than 70 players and coaches from that team are invited to town for a reunion weekend. You have just one more day to vote for the coolest things made in Wisconsin. This year, a Stoughton clothing company is on the list. CC Moo LLC made it to the top 4 after the first round of voting in Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Contest. That company makes clothing for infants and toddlers who need a feeding tube. A Kringle company in De Pere, and Generac, which makes a Wi-Fi connected home generator that can sense power outages, are also in the finals. You can vote once per day at madeinwis.com until tomorrow night at 11:59. And who doesn't like getting stuff for free? Today you can celebrate National Coffee Day with a free cup of Joe, perfect for early risers and coffee lovers alike. Dunkin' Donuts has a buy one, get one deal on hot coffee all day. Einstein Brothers will give you a free cup with any food purchase. There are a handful of other shops in town offering these deals too. You can find a full list on our website, channel3000.com. And Chris, what a better morning to have than a cold morning like this. A little hot chocolate, cup of Joe, it all sounds so good.
It really does. In fact, those temperatures, though, very much on the cool side this morning. Some folks were all the way down into the 20s, but we've recovered a little bit. We're at 34 degrees right now here in Madison. Lots of sunshine out there. In fact, crystal blue sky with this shot over the Capitol right now. Temperatures are 12 degrees cooler than they were 24 hours ago, 18 degrees cooler in Janesville, which shows how we've actually recovered a little bit, because this morning we were 20 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. 38 here in town, yes. 31 in Black River Falls, which made it down to 23 this morning, and then 30 in Camp Douglas. They were also in the 20s earlier today, but we are seeing the freeze gradually relax across the north, where they still do have some of those freeze warnings in play that'll go for about the next 45 minutes or so. But 36 to 48 as we go through the morning, staying pretty chilly throughout the afternoon, but we'll see our temperatures top out into the mid-50s. Increasing clouds come back into the picture, though, because we are tracking rain chances as we go overnight and then into your Sunday. Now, if you're heading out and about, traffic is running smoothly. There are no travel issues this morning. In fact, I had a little alert for icy roads possible this morning with my car. No big deal. So do expect good travel conditions and a beautiful weekend before those clouds come in, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. We turn to a developing story right now. A Middleton Cross Plains bus driver is on paid administrative leave this weekend, but the school district is not releasing much information as to why. We do know this is because of an incident that happened on Monday. It happened on a Glacier Creek Middle School bus. The bus driver is seen in a video putting his hand on the back of a girl's head. The district is doing an investigation along with the Dane County Sheriff's Office. The parent who walked into his daughter's Shorewood Elementary School classroom and handed the teacher a piece of cardboard with the word gun written on it will not face jail time. In court, Jonathan Fitzgerald pleaded guilty by no contest to 1 count of disorderly conduct. Friday, he was sentenced to 200 hours of community service. According to a criminal complaint from February, Fitzgerald told the teacher in front of students, quote, "You just let a gunman into your school," end quote. If Fitzgerald does not complete the community service, he will have to serve 25 days in jail. School and stress go hand in hand for a growing number of students, but an Indiana school has a new program teaching kids how to cope. Gabby Gonzalez takes us inside the room where kids learn to breathe, do yoga, and take some time for themselves.
Well, a big part of this program is about teaching kids how to cope with stress. At this school, there's a special room with activities like calming breathing and even yoga.
Elbows wide. Unwind.
These simple exercises inside a classroom.
Notice what you feel on the inside. Not so tight, not so wound up.
Are part of a complex plan to ease kids' anxieties while at school.
Sometimes we see students acting out because they've experienced trauma. Sometimes we see them shutting down because they've experienced trauma.
The IPS district includes some of the highest crime and poverty areas in the city, so students might be exposed to a lot, including violence or food insecurity. The principal here says they wanted to take a new approach to guide kids on how to respond to those situations or conflicts at school.
So we had over 100 individual instances of suspension last year, and that was just too many. We had to ask some really hard questions about what we needed to add.
So this became one of about 24 IPS schools that added social emotional learning to its curriculum.
The trauma that our children feel and experience is real, and we have to help them make meaning from that. When you read things that children write in their journals that tug at your heart, right? Sometimes we need a place to be able to be where we can take a minute so that we can get our own self back in our thinking part of our brain, so that we can be back there for kids.
There is an amygdala reset room for teachers, complete with relaxing sounds and reassuring messages, and one for students, where they can take a 15-minute break, learn to put their feelings into words, and do an activity to calm themselves down.
In this building, we're not waiting for kids to grow up to change the world. We're changing the world right now, one kiddo at a time. And we need everybody pulling on the same end of the rope.
And there could soon be amygdala reset rooms like this one at other schools. The district hopes to add 20 schools to this sort of program by the winter of 2019.
This district is encouraging other schools across the country to also follow its lead. Geo's Garden held its annual gala last night. The Madison nonprofit has been offering respite care to parents of special needs children since 2012. The donations go towards giving professionals care to these children and giving their parents some well-deserved rest. News 3's Charlotte DeLeste emceed the event. 8:36 this morning, new information is out on the number of kids with brain injuries, and doctors have a new recommendation for people hoping to sharpen their memory. Plus, there's a new way to monitor your sun exposure, and it's as simple as a wristband. Health Watch is next on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning, friends. It is 38 degrees if you are headed out the door right now. Plenty of sunshine out there to help it at least feel a little bit warmer than that. 39 in the Dells, 32 at Black River Falls, and 30 in Camp Douglas right now. But the 40s are starting to increase from southeast and to the north and west. 44 in Milwaukee, same for Monroe right now. We do still have the freeze warnings. Those are going to expire as we approach 9 o'clock for our friends to the north. So not too much longer to go with those. Then temperatures do bounce back as we go into the afternoon. 48 by lunchtime. We'll see those highs in the mid-50s today, but you'll also notice cloud cover. That will be on the increase ahead of a rain chance towards tomorrow. I'll be breaking that all down coming up. Josh.
Chris, thank you. 8:40 is your time right now. And on the Health Watch this morning, there are new numbers out on kids who might be impacted by brain injuries later in life. 2.5% of children in the country have experienced a concussion or another type of traumatic brain injury. That's according to a survey in the journal Pediatrics. Those types of injuries leave children at higher risk for long-term health problems. Exercise may delay cognitive decline in patients with a rare type of Alzheimer's disease, usually found in younger people. That's according to German researchers who found 70% of those patients experienced better day-to-day functioning when they were active for at least 2.5 hours a week. Scientists have found an easy way to help people monitor their sun exposure. A new ultraviolet sensor can tell you when you've had too much sun or just a healthy dose of vitamin D. CBS News reports it's as simple as wearing a paper wristband.
It's a natural source of vitamin D and the main cause of skin cancer. Getting the right amount of sun is a fine balance, but researchers say they have a solution.
And we identified a molecule which can actually do the job in a very, very easy fashion.
Scientists have developed an invisible ink that turns blue under UV light. The more ink that's revealed, the higher the exposure, creating an affordable wearable sun sensor as simple as putting pen to paper.
You can make it in any wearable format, wristband, hairband, sticker for kids, school bags and so on.
At the moment, the only guide for managing sun exposure is the UV index. That indicates the intensity of UV rays, but it doesn't tell you how much sun is healthy for individual skin types. The ink or the surface it's printed on can be adjusted to reflect the UV absorption of 6 skin tones. Ben Kerslake was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma in 2014, despite being careful in the sun.
It would have been really useful for me. I would have taken advantage of these had they been around years ago.
The sensor is in its early stages and needs more testing, but researchers hope it'll be available to the public by the summer of 2020.
Right now, the wristband is undergoing tests in Australia, but researchers there hope it will catch on in the U.S. within the next year. Time right now is 8:43 this morning. Are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we've got some ideas for you. There are some musical acts taking the stage in town, showcasing a variety of different styles for a wide range of audiences. And mark your calendars, round 2 of a family fun festival is right around the corner. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. And we thank you so much for watching News 3 this morning. We'll be right back.
Good morning. The frost advisory that we had in Madison, that expired at the top of this show at 8 o'clock. But now here we are. We still have some freeze warnings. Those are going to go for about the next 15 minutes. And then we should see most of these come down as well. But that is where temperatures are still right around that freezing mark. Check out Marshfield and then Rylander also at 32 degrees. Same for Superior. A lot of these folks were in the upper 20s earlier this morning. We were in the lower 30s in Madison, but now we do sit at 38 degrees. And we are not concerned about any kind of rain or snow, at least in the meantime. We have plenty of sunshine. Now, there is some snow across portions of west central Minnesota. This is the next system moving our way, but we're going to be much warmer by the time it gets here, so that will likely produce some rain. We'll talk about that here in a second. Winds are calm right now. We're going to see those begin to peak up out of the south and southeast as we go farther into our afternoon and evening. At the same time, that's where we're going to notice the clouds coming back into the picture. We'll see our temperatures top out right around 56 degrees. Once we move on from this point at 4 o'clock, notice the rain chances start to increase, especially as we go into the overnight hours and in through early on Sunday morning. That's one of several waves of low pressure that'll move through, and here's why we are going to have so many. First of all, we have this big ridge of warm temperatures that's over Alaska. What that's doing is sending a lot of that cooler air down south, and we have what's known as a trough. Now, that trough is eventually going to relax a little bit, so you'll see some of that cooler air begin to retreat up towards the north. As this does so, you have what's known as a temperature gradient, and that's going to allow several waves of low pressure to move along a frontal boundary that's not necessarily moving all that much. So we're going to see that frontal boundary develop as early as tonight, and then here we are with those waves of low pressure bringing in those chances of rain. We'll have extra chances of rain as we go into the day on Monday. But in addition to chances of rain, it's going to be a roller coaster ride of temperatures near 80 by Wednesday. Towards next weekend, we are struggling to get out of the 40s for those afternoon highs. So yeah, check that out. We'll see highs right around 60 by the time we get you through tomorrow, 68 through Monday, and then additional rain chances going through the middle and end of the week. Friday, 58 degrees and rainy. That actually sounds somewhat miserable, not going to lie there. But by the time we get in towards next weekend, it will be chilly, but we should have a bit more sunshine around as well. Hopefully the frost got the mosquitoes, though.
Kind of that roller coaster ride of temperatures.
It is a roller coaster ride of temperatures. I am ready for that roller coaster ride of temperatures because you get what you get when it comes to weather. Pat Walk, this is Zeno and Lake Tomahawk. And get that, enjoying the lake weather.
While they can before it freezes.
Exactly. The days of lake weather are certainly numbered around here at this point.
All right, Chris. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this picture. It was shared on Instagram by @InspiredByTheSeasons. Little flower there with a little bumblebee on it. A lot of bees out this time of the year. Thank you so much for sharing. What does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page, Instagram, or Twitter, and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. And that's how we pick out our favorites right here on the program. What is the weekend in the 608?
And here's a look at what's going on in and around the area.
A big name show is coming to town tonight. The Indigo Girls are playing at the Orpheum Theater. The folk rock duo made up of Amy Ray and Emily Saliers are still going strong after 20 years together. They've had top 40 hits in each of the past 4 decades. That success has fueled the Indigo Girls' activism and involvement in campaigns against the death penalty, the environment, and LGBTQ rights. Catch the Madison favorite tonight at 8.
And if you're looking for a different kind of music, how about a trip to the Overture to welcome back the Madison Symphony Orchestra? John DeMaine opens his 25th season with the musicians. The show is titled The Axe is Back and features Emmanuel Axe, a Grammy Award-winning concert pianist. You'll still have 2 more chances to catch a performance, one tonight at 8 and another tomorrow at 2:30, both of those at the Overture Center.
Here's a chance to get your weekend workout in while helping the Henry Vilas Zoo stay free. The 13th annual Zoo Run is tomorrow. This year, runners can sign up to be either a badger or a gopher. Badgers will try to catch as many gophers as they can during the run, and gophers will try to stay away from the badgers. There will also be a Roo Run for kids who can choose to run either a half mile or a full mile. The annual run serves as a fundraiser for the zoo.
That's fantastic there. And looking ahead, if you missed this past Thursday night's family fun event at the Olbrich Botanical Gardens, you'll get another chance next week. How fun does this sound? Check it out. Bonfires, live music, and food carts, all to celebrate the arrival of autumn. It's called Crackle, Fire, and Froth. It's next Friday night from 7 to 10 at Olbrich. The exhibition Gleam, Art, and a New Light will also be on display.
I might have to check that out.
Absolutely.
As always, be sure to pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. Coming up on 8:52 this Saturday morning, be sure to stick with News 3 and Channel 3000 this weekend. On our news at 6 and 10 tonight, the Badgers may have a bye week, but you can still get your Bucky fix at tonight's Bucky on Parade. The final party, rather, will have the latest after a summer full of picture-taking, memory-making fun. But first, taking time away from all of the talk and tackling and ties. How about that? Getting all tripped up this morning. How Packers players spent this week giving their time to brighten the day of kids who deserve it. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. Welcome back at 8:55. The Green Bay Packers took a short break from football this week, giving some lifelong memories to kids fighting for their lives.
That's right, Josh. The team made a visit to Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. Mark McPherson has the heartwarming story.
For the Packers, the past week has been about how to knock someone down. Tonight, it was all about how you rise up.
It really puts things in perspective for us.
Deshaun Kaiser and his teammates were surrounded by kids in wheelchairs connected to IVs.
And when you come here, it makes you realize that every step you take, every day you wake up is truly a blessing.
Like Justin Comp.
That was the best experience that I've had.
Who has spent months in the hospital waiting for a new heart.
It was so fun. I'm a huge Packers fan. I've always wanted to meet them.
I was just hanging out with my buddy Justin, and he Said he was, out having a good time. He was at a volleyball camp, felt a little off, and all of a sudden he's been here for the last 2 months.
He has no voice, but still asked for all of their autographs.
I did. I got them all.
And Braxton Sager,
Go, Pack, go!
who isn't afraid to show his Packers pride.
I mean, just coming in and putting a smile on these kids' faces, that's what it's all about.
Linebacker Jake Ryan says even something as simple as a coloring book can make their night.
The kids are doing a little bit better than I am, but I let them have the brown crayon because, that's a football color.
Even if he isn't their favorite player.
I asked them who their favorite player is. Of course, it's Aaron.
It's a break from the grind of football at a perfect time for the Packers. Between the smiles, autographs, and pictures, there's no talk of tackling.
No, not too much. Not too much. And hopefully they don't get a flag thrown at them if they try to tackle me.
This was just one of the volunteer events Packers teammates participated in this week. They also helped Milwaukee police officers build a playground. The players will be back at Lambeau tomorrow, taking the field against the Bills. Kickoff is at noon.
Well, if you're going to be headed up to Lambeau tomorrow, take an umbrella or a light poncho. We'll have some rain chances around, though I don't think it'll be a total washout. But as we go through the rest of today, enjoy that sunshine that we have out there now. Clouds will be increasing this afternoon. You'll see highs right around 56 degrees. And then check out the roller coaster ride next week. Near 80 on Wednesday, struggling to get out of the 40s as we get you towards next weekend. Some overnight lows will be in the 30s.
All right, Chris, thank you. And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.